Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic panel session we had on digital CX, transformational CX strategy during COVID-19 pandemic. And I would like to congratulate and thank all the honorable panel members for giving their time on a busy Friday, working Friday, and making this panel so exciting. Special thanks to Mr. Raja Devnath, the co-founder of VFin Solutions, for wonderfully moderating the panel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our next session of the day on a very interesting topic and a very critical topic as well in the NBFC domain, bimodal lending transformation, AARI in front office for CX and hyper automation in back office. And to give this presentation in front of all of you, I would like to call on stage Mr. Malay Shah, Vice President, Automation Anywhere, our partner for this event. Malay, warm welcome to you at the India NBFC Summit 2021. Always a pleasure having you and automation in our NBFC event. Malay, before you start the presentation, let me give you some good news. We are now registering live 1,150 plus live attendees. Pretty early in the morning, but all of them have come here. So I'm sure a lot of excited people. Looking forward to hear from you for a cracking session ahead. And Malay, all over to you. And all the best. I'm sure it's going to be a very fantastic session.
Thank you so much, Soumya. Appreciate. Good morning, everyone. And what an interesting time at this, at this juncture, both from a massive recovery. I mean, we saw the 1 billion plus vaccination that we had on the health side, as well as a great economic recovery. So it's the timing cannot be better from an economic backdrop that we are seeing right now. So without further ado, let me share my screen. And Soumya, I just want a quick confirmation if you are able to see my presentation. And then it's a very interesting topic that I thought I'll touch upon and provide kind of our views from an Automation Anywhere perspective. Just a quick confirmation, Soumya, if you can see my screen.
Yes. Your screen is totally visible, Malay. Please
All
continue.
right. Okay. Great. Thank you so much. So before I get started, just a very quick introduction about Automation Anywhere. We are a software company based out of Silicon Valley, but a massive Indian heritage with more than 50% of our employee headcount based out of India. But I think what we really take pride is the fact that in some sense we are the largest employer in the world, and these are not the human employers, but rather what we call as digital workers or the bots. We have already deployed more than 3.2 million bots across the world with a variety of our customers and clients, predominantly in BFSI as a sector. We have more than 4,000 enterprise customers around the world. But more specifically in India, over the last 3 years, we have got 1,000 plus customers directly as well as through our partners. And many of them are in this entire NBFC and BFSI sector. We take pride in the fact that we get recognized as a leader in the RPA as a category across the board, ranging from Gartner to Everest to Forrester to HFS Research and so on and so forth. So that's just a very quick introduction about our company. But let me quickly talk about this is our kind of our product stack in terms of what our offerings are from an RPA perspective. Few years back, RPA, which basically is robotics process automation, really meant that we are doing point solutions, we are doing task automations on very simple business processes. But today, RPA has evolved into a full-blown massive platform which covers everything from process discovery to helping you work on a lot of unstructured data. As an organization, as NBFC organizations, you will have lots and lots of unstructured data in terms of forms, in terms of applications, in terms of documents that the customers would submit, in terms of identity information like PAN card, Aadhaar card, KYC documents, so on and so forth. So we have a product called IQBot, which allows you to work with those unstructured data and allow you to extract that information to be able to process as part of your core business processes, whether it's loan origination, whether it is loan servicing, or whether it is collection processes. There are several other components of the platforms. I'm not going to go into all of those detail, but practically all this platform, all the components that you see on the slide actually makes up for what we call as an entire RPA platform. But more specifically, I want to touch upon the two aspects. Predominantly RPA was seen as an efficiency play, meaning how can you automate your business processes so that you can do more with fewer resources. How you can automate your back office business processes, whether it is HR, whether it is your core finance processes, whether it is your back office processes, so on and so forth. But more interestingly today, RPA is extremely critical even in the front office, and because the entire experience that you are able to provide to the customers with the help of automation, and with the help of automation playing a role, especially in your contact centers, can actually make a very big difference, from the customer experience standpoint as well. So that's why I'm talking. This entire topic is about bimodal transformation, which is, it's RPA not only to improve your back office efficiencies, but to also significantly improve your customer experience and associated front office processes. So let me quickly walk you through, why automation is so critical, in enterprise organizations. And I know a lot of NBFCs started out with very bare bones technology stack that they put together, and over a period of time they've become quite automated, having a lot of system of records, whether it is in terms of loan origination systems or loan management systems or collection systems, or they're even your ERP systems, etc. So organizations have become more diverse and more complex, in terms of their entire application landscape. So you have lots of those applications in the back office. A lot of organizations that I know have invested a lot in their front office operations as well. So whether it is in terms of customer acquisition, whether it is in terms of running campaigns, or having a Salesforce or Marketo for marketing automation, or having a specialized suite for running your customer service. So there's a lot of investments which have gone in the front office. And then most of the employees today obviously are used to Office 365, using Zoom, using G Suite, so on and so forth, right? Now the challenge is that all these three kind of silos, if I were to call it, at times are disconnected. And the way we connect these silos today is by having humans solve for the kind of the breakpoints which happen in the business processes. So you will have lots of people who are just processing loan application forms, people who are keying in all the data in the loan origination system, people who are pulling data to run analytics in terms of potential NPA risks that you run on your pre-existing loans. And that's where automation really comes into picture. We don't intend to replace any of the applications that you have already invested in, but what we do a great job is actually connecting your front office with back office, and also the applications that most of your employees are used to running on a day-to-day basis, like Outlook and Excel, and actually provide a seamless connected experience across your entire application landscape. So that's what we really focus on, and that's what we really automate to improve the efficiencies as well as experience. Now, having said this, let me kind of talk through kind of the use cases that we are automating. So in terms of the use cases, as I mentioned, we have use cases right across the front office as well as the back office landscape, and the pervasiveness of RPA, across this entire landscape is massive. So whether it is in your contact center, and I'll go into a little more detail and show you a demo as well in terms of how your contact center can be automated, whether right from the time call drops in your IVR to the time you take any specific customer requests, whether it's for their account statements, whether it's for upgrading their credit card limits, or whatever it is, right? So basically working in the customer contact center and automating those processes is something that our products actually do. Lot many times we also find that the experience sometimes becomes poorer at the time of customer onboarding. Usually you will have lots and lots of data and forms which is collected. A lot of it is obviously in digitized version, but that's where how do you ensure that you are able to drive a straight through processing where those records are extracted, information flows to a very large extent possible directly into your system of records, without minimal touch point intervention. And wherever there are exceptions, you probably need a workflow management to be able to address this, and all of this comes out of the box in our RE solution that I'm going to talk about in a little bit as well, in terms of talking about how can you improve your processes on the new customer acquisition side. And last but not the least, I think the whole back office, whether it is running your underwriting process, running your KYC process, running your anti-money laundering processes, or your back office finance functions or HR functions, again RPA plays a significant role. So I would say RPA is in some sense has almost become synonymous to starting your digital transformation initiative. And if you are on a journey of digital transformation, which most organizations are, RPA becomes a very critical component as part of their entire journey. So let me first now focus on the front office aspect, because that's where that's the piece which in some sense potentially could be new or unfamiliar territory for many organizations from an RPA standpoint. Today most of the front office workers, whether they are in contact centers or whether they are in branch, or whether they are on the field, they will customers will reach out to your front line through variety of channels. I mean, today customers have choice to reach out through an IVR or a contact center. They may want to send an email. They may even want to post something on your social media which you may want to respond. So having this multi-channel access coming into your and providing that single pane of glass to your front office agents becomes an extremely important part. But I think the bigger challenge is that when customer reaches to you through any of these channels, and could be a very simple request like, can I upgrade my credit card limit, or can I basically change my tenure of my loan, or can I change my EMI numbers? Usually most of the time that the agent is actually spending is looking into the back office applications. They are opening potentially your Nucleus software or loan origination system. They may be looking up in your loan management system. They may be looking at records. They may be looking at your your Salesforce system. So they are putting you on hold, spending minute, 2 minutes, at times longer. But all that they're doing is basically fetching all those records, trying to validate certain information, and at times you may have multi-channel relationship. You may have an auto loan, you may have a mortgage loan, you may have a personal loan, etc. Which sometimes they may all be different systems, but the agent is actually putting the customer on hold and looking at all that information. That actually, in our view, impacts not only the efficiencies in terms of your what we call as average handling time, that an agent spends with the customer, but also basically impacts the customer experience as well. There are a lot of call drops which happens because of the hold times as well. So this is where the RPA really comes into picture. Wouldn't it be nice if those agents actually had a digital buddy, or a almost like a Siri or an Alexa kind of assistant, who can do all this pulling information back and forth into a very simplified interface, so that your frontline workers are able to spend time more time with the customer, understanding their requirements and solving their issues and problems, right? So that's where our RE solution really comes into picture. So what is RE? RE is basically an acronym for Automation Anywhere Robotics Interface. It simply provides a unified interface to pull in information which is relevant for the call or for the context for which a customer has called from any of the back office system. Could be 10, could be 50, even could be 100. But it pulls in that information into a very simplified interface. And then any of the work that the knowledge worker has to do as part of the post call, maybe like things like updating address, and which may need to be updated in, let's say, 5 different back off system of records in the back office. Again, RE basically does that work for the knowledge worker. Average handling time goes down, customer experience gets improved, contact center efficiencies improves significantly as well because of this, right? So I'll just maybe quickly show, this is again a one schematic, for example, which is where again there were multiple back office systems, and again RE basically stitches all of that together in terms of a very simplified interface, and bots doing the back and forth work, which otherwise the agent would have to do, right? So it's again a simple view in terms of typically what does RE do. RE before the call will basically do all the multiple application login. It will pull in all the customer transaction history. It will pull in all the previous contact notes, bring it into one single place. And during the call, it is doing back and forth, fetching the information and providing it to the agents. And after the call, they are doing also inputs in terms of after call notes, or if the systems needs to be updated, with any of the records, again, it will do that. And last but not the least, even any of the escalations that need to be managed, which means, let's say, if there are certain approval limits that you hit and you need a manager's exception approval, or the specific financial product manager's approval. Again, those escalations are also addressed as part of the workflows through RE. So really game changing platform in terms of enabling the front office efficiency. And by the way, all of this works seamlessly along with your virtual agents, could be things like chatbots as well. I'll show one quick demo, and maybe just I'll need one quick confirmation if the demo is audible. Maybe Soumya, if you can just confirm that. I'm just going to play the demo at my end. Um, just please let me know if the audio is available to the participants. Great. Thanks, Soumya, for that confirmation. I'm just going to continue playing the demo. So this is a very simplified demo where the entire RE interface is available right inside the Salesforce application, basically the agent is logging into their RE application, and a customer is calling into the organization asking for an upgrade of their credit card limit over here. So what you see over here on the right hand side is a very simplified guided automation interface which gets enabled right inside the application, and allows allows the agent to support any of the service requests. They may want to create a new customer. They may want to create a new customer. They may want to. I'm sorry. They may want to create a new customer. They may want to upgrade the credit card limit. They may want to change the address. So all of that is available in form of the guided automation. And what this simple interface is doing is pulling information back and forth from any of the system of records. Here it is pulling in from Salesforce, but it could also pull in from any of the loan origination system which may be there. And all that the agent has to do is just interface with this particular interface, right? And what will happen is all the backend system of records will get updated. Here, the customer credit card limit is already $10,000. They want to upgrade it to $15,000, and they're doing right in this interface. And here in this case, it will also check the credit score of the customer and whether the customer is eligible for this credit card limit upgrade. If not, again, it will basically manage the entire exception workflow to get this approval as well, right? So I'm just, in interest of time, I'm going to move forward. This is just a great example in terms of running the front office transformation through three things, as I mentioned. One is a simplified interface. Second is bots doing back and forth between the system of records and between the between the front office applications, and then also there are workflows being managed as part of this application. Just 2 minutes for this session. I know we are short on time, but I'll just quickly touch upon one more additional case, especially in the back office, and in this case, it's the case study of loan origination. So this is an example, right from pre-qualification all the way to loan funding, which are all the steps which can be automated with the help of RPA, and not just RPA, but with the help of hyper automation platform, which includes cognitive bots as well. So what you see here in the deep red boxes are the ones which are extremely high potential in terms of automating those specific sub processes as part of mortgage origination. We work with several of the customers where the loan packets are sometimes in hundreds of pages, lots of different forms, lots of identity information, which needs to be extracted, put it into the loan origination system. Certain rules have to be applied for validations. Manual workflows have to come into picture, but all of these process steps, which would otherwise take days and weeks, can be completed in minutes and hours. So that's the power of automation. Here is what you see is how automation is stitching the process, which cuts across Salesforce, DocuSign, Equifax, Meridian Link. And that's why this automation becomes, in some sense, an integration layer across your enterprise stack. Some additional use cases in the back office. Again, I'm not going to go into detail, but typically very pervasive across your traditional finance and your HR and your IT back office function. Last but not the least, all our products are also integrated with Google, and especially Google AI. We have a partnership where there is an out-of-the-box integration available. So we work very closely with Google in terms of combining their capabilities on vision, auto ML, speech, and natural language. So the entire AI piece gets come along with the entire stack when we drive digital transformation along with RPA. Last but not the least, why we are the best in the industry, largely because our entire platform is available on cloud. We have data centers in India with AWS and with Google. We are a single integrated platform which cuts across everything, as I mentioned, from process discovery to cognitive automation to front office automation. And largely, we are truly an enterprise grade platform, driving great scalability. This is a question for you. What will you automate next? But this is a very short presentation from our side. Happy to take maybe one question, if I may, Soumya, at this point in time.
Thank you so much, Malay, for that wonderful presentation. Really exciting to hear you on that particular subject and topic, and I'm sure a lot of inquiries would be coming in. We don't have a question yet, Malay, so but I'm sure. I just want to tell the audience that Malay and Team Automation Anywhere are there throughout the day. So please reach out to them. You can chat with them, you can text with the team, and know more about the offerings of Automation Anywhere for the NBFC industry. Thank you, Malay. Once again, always a pleasure having Automation Anywhere and a pleasure having you here. I look forward to having you again in the next edition of the India NBFC Summit. Take care.